The News Alerts, Podcast Media. Today, live May 5, 2021. Here is the headline of the most recent news on the international scene. Trump still banned from Facebook but board demands company review. Facebook Incorporated's oversight board on Wednesday upheld the company's suspension of former U.S. President Donald Trump but gave the company 6 months to determine a proportionate response going forward. A verdict that may chart how social media will treat rule-breaking world leaders in the future. The company inappropriately imposed an indeterminate suspension without clear standards, the board said, requiring a company review. The board said Facebook should determine a response that is consistent with rules applied to other users of the platform. Facebook left the indefinite suspension in place and referred the entire matter to the oversight board, apparently hoping the board would do what it had not done. Said Michael McConnell, co-chair of the oversight board, during a press conference after publishing its decision on Wednesday. McConnell added, indefinite penalties of this sort do not pass the international or American smell test for clarity, consistency, and transparency. Facebook indefinitely blocked Trump's access to his Facebook and Instagram accounts over concerns of further violent unrest following the January 6 storming of the U.S. Capitol by supporters of the former president. We will now consider the board's decision and determine an action that is clear and proportionate, Nick Clegg, Facebook Vice President of Global Affairs and Communication, published in a blog entry following the decision. In the meantime, Mr. Trump's accounts remain suspended. At the time of the suspension, Facebook chief executive Mark Zuckerberg said in a post that the risks of allowing the president to continue to use our service during this period are simply too great. The company later referred the case to its recently established board, which includes academics, lawyers and rights activists, to decide whether to uphold the ban or restore Trump. Both of those decisions are no-win decisions for Facebook, said Kate Klonick, an assistant law professor at St. John's University who embedded at Facebook to follow the board's creation. So, offloading those to a third party, the oversight board, is a win for them no matter what. The binding verdict marks a major decision for the board, which rules on a small slice of challenging content decisions and which Facebook created as an independent body as a response to criticism over how it handles problematic material. Facebook has also asked the board to provide recommendations on how it should handle political leaders' accounts. Tech platforms have grappled in recent years with how to police world leaders and politicians that violate their guidelines. Facebook has come under fire both from those who think it should abandon its hands-off approach to political speech and those who saw the Trump ban as a worrying act of censorship. Trump was permanently banned from Twitter, where he has more than 88 million followers. Trump, who has been sending out short, emailed press releases, continued to promote election misinformation in one on Monday, saying the fraudulent presidential election of 2020 will be, from this day forth, known as the Big Lie. On Tuesday, he launched a new web page to share messages that readers can then repost to their Facebook or Twitter accounts. A senior advisor has said Trump also has plans to launch his own social media platform. Icon to outcast, Trump's difficult relationship with social media. Washington, former U.S. President Donald Trump, one of the most skilled politicians on social media, built up a huge following on major platforms before being abruptly banned. As Facebook's independent supervisory board is due to decide on Wednesday whether the ex-president can return or not, here are the key milestones in his often tumultuous relationship with social media. No moderation. At the time of his suspension, Donald Trump had more than 88 million followers on Twitter and 35 million on Facebook. He used his personal accounts more than official accounts, even for making political statements. Critics accuse the former president of repeatedly violating platform rules on hate content without much moderation until the final months of his presidency. He himself blocked people who criticized him on Twitter, which sparked legal action. In 2019, a court ruled that his personal account was effectively a public forum for all voices to be expressed. Exceptions. Until last year, major social networks had largely rejected calls to remove Mr. Trump's often inflammatory or deceptive posts, saying that even if he broke the rules, his comments should remain available for the public to see, form their own opinion on their political statements. The American leader has continued to vilify the dominant platforms, often accusing them of being politically oriented. But he also invited Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg to a private dinner at the White House in 2019, raising suspicions about the billionaire's supposed preferential treatment by the social media giant. Warnings. In 2020, Facebook and Twitter began applying disclaimers to certain messages from Donald Trump. Last June, Facebook, for example, removed an ad from Donald Trump that used a Nazi symbol, the inverted triangle. The social network also deleted one of its comments where it said that the United States had learned to live with the seasonal flu. in the same way that we learned to live with the COVID, suggesting that the latter was much less deadly. Twitter hid the post, forcing users to click to view it. The other major platforms have also gradually stepped up their moderation of the former head of state. Things are enjoying. After much procrastination during the presidential campaign, in which Mr. Trump was seen as a major source of disinformation, major platforms have taken more decisive action following the rampage of his supporters during the invasion of the Capitol on January 6. The shocking events of the past 24 hours make it clear that President Donald Trump intends to use his remaining time to undermine the peaceful transition of power to his elected successor. Joe Biden. Mark Zuckerberg wrote on his page Facebook, Twitter has taken the same path, but founder Jack Dorsey has admitted some responsibility for letting the situation escalate. Banning an account has real and significant consequences, Dorsey said in a series of tweets about his decision to permanently ban Donald Trump. While defending the billionaire's suspension, the Twitter boss admitted it represented a failure and set a dangerous precedent. Don't forget to comment below with your common sense and subscribe to your podcast. This helps bring the podcast to life and grow it. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We can't wait to continue this adventure with you. Support us on PayPal. Thank you very much and enjoy listening.